Good afternoon, everyone. Today we started a little late because Dhamma talk went a little bit longer, and we thought you need a little break. And now we are beginning the Dhamma discussion. As we always say, when the Dhamma discussion is there, if all the people are nearby and if we exchange, more meaningful. But remotely, you can ask questions, and then that is how we have been doing Dhamma discussion lately. And today's question, one of the questions that we received is, could you explain further about awareness and Samma Samadhi? We watched Saturday Dhamma talk before Katina, and it was very interesting. That was about the Samma Samadhi, that Dhamma talk that referring to in here. And if we further discuss a little bit more of Samma Samadhi, which is one of the most important part of is one thing, and Buddha's practice is one thing, which is directly connected to each other. And when we say Buddhist practice, that is basically the practice of Eightfold Path. The whole idea of the practice of Eightfold Path is to minimize our self-centered thinking, self-centered behavior. In the morning, we discussed Chula Gosinga Sutta. Venerable Anuruddha is telling the Buddha that directly when I have know my own ideas, I want to do a certain things in certain way, and that is my way, and that is the one I along with. That means I have no too much self-centeredness. That means I have no my own personal opinion of how to do this, how we say this, and none of those personal opinions are there. And when others, I am living with the monks, Venerable Nandya and Venerable Kimbila, and then Venerable Anuruddha is saying, I just go along with them, and when I want to do a certain thing in a certain way, other people go along with me. So there's no specific thing that I'm attached to. That means I'm not self-centered. When I'm not self-centered, I have no everybody follow my way, and that is the idea of Buddhist practice. That's the idea of Eightfold Path. What is this self-centered thinking means? Tanha. if the tanha is strong, actively strong in our mind, then I have my own personal belief. So if you say something against what I believe, if you do something against what I believe, I get upset and angry and I get disturbed because I didn't like what you said, what you did, because that's not what I think you should be doing, we should be doing. So, therefore, ultimate goal of purpose of minimizing the intensity of tanha, self-centeredness. Now, the whole sutta that we discuss in the morning, he say, Venerable Anuruddha tells the Buddha why they are getting along, why they are not having any disturbances, why they are not having any arguments and quarrels, because they have so much metta for each other. So metta vachi karma we practice, metta mano karma we practice, metta kaya karma we practice as a group of 3 people. What is metta in this case? More you practice metta, less self-centered you become. When you are not self-centered, your hatred is not that strong, and your greed is not that strong. And as a result, your moha, confusion and ignorance is not strong. So the practice of metta is a technique that we use, that the Buddha had taught, to increase our samadhi. Samadhi means calmness of the mind. If you have a huge basin or bowl of water, and if you take a stick and hit the basin, the whole water is going to start trembling. And that is what happened to our mind too. When anything that I don't like strike me, come to me, my mind get disturbed. So that is the one that does not happen when you cultivate metta. Metta is a very good practice for keeping samadhi. When the mind is so disturbed and agitated, anything that we see, anything that we hear, anything that we are doing could not be accurate and safe and beneficial. Because we are disturbed, it's already disturbed, we get the distorted view, distorted vision, distorted hearing. And these are the things that make our lives very difficult and full of frustration and fear. Therefore, samadhi means calmness of the mind is so important for us to live peacefully and happily, because it gives us a very clear understanding of what is around, what we are experiencing. If we don't have that clear understanding of what is going on in us and around us, in us and around us. Those are the two things to remember. If we have a distorted view what is going on in me, our mind always get disturbed. That means no samadhi. When the water tank or water bottle, not water pot, or water basin of water is unshaken, undisturbed, the water is so calm and clear. When water is so clear, you can see anything and everything that is inside the water clearly. And when the water is totally disturbed, we look through the water, we don't know what is in there, and anything we cannot see. Same thing about the world. If you think that water inside the basin and the bottom of the water, so many things, and there are fish, water is disturbed. And that is same as the ocean. When the ocean is so disturbed and so many waves, we cannot really see what is underneath the waves or underneath the water. But if the water is clear, we can see all the corals and all the fish and all the plants and everything we can see so clearly, and we can get a good idea of what is there. So that is how important the samadhi or the calmness of the mind or serenity of the mind. So from the morning Dhamma talk, we knew that, we heard that Venerable Nanruddha and Venerable Kimbila and Venerable Nandika and all these three Venerable monks have been and achieving Patamajjhana, Dutiyajjhana, Tatiyajjhana. Jhana means levels of calmness. How calm they are, how peaceful their mind is. And he was telling the Buddha, with our staying together, we are not just staying, but we are cultivating first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, and all the other jhanas he mentioned in the sutta. That means our mind is calm this much, and our calm mind is calm this much, and then our calm mind is calm this much, and this much, so clear, and our mind is so clear, and finally we even saw own asavas that come into our mind and try to disturb our mind, we could see, and we completely stop the asavas that come into our mind and disturb our mind. Now you can see why in most Theravada Buddhist tradition, metta bhavana is highly appreciated. Even a single object meditation, without metta meditation, you take one single object and maybe the Buddha, maybe a flower, and you try to focus your mind, and you are practicing samadhi. That means you are strengthening your calmness of the mind. And I mentioned earlier, I think one of the biggest problems that we have in our society is attention deficit syndrome. So agitated all the time, and you go to this and you work on this a little bit, and then you go to another one, your mind goes to another one. So your mind is constantly running from one thing to the other, to the other, to the other. That means your mind is not calm at all, because mind is so strongly moving and disturbed and agitating. So even simple meditation technique like Buddha Anusati, for example, a contemplation of the Buddha, some wonderful object for your mind to be calm and focused. And any of the samatha meditation, 40 samatha meditation, of course, metta is one, and karuna for upekka is something, all practice, different practice. Another kayagata sati, looking at the body closely and see the repulsiveness of your own body. At one point it is disturbing. Practice kayagata sati, you become calmer in the end and more peaceful, and you become able to disregard the actual repulsive nature of the human body and things like that, example. And then asubha, maranasati. Sati is another practice to calm ourselves down. When the mind is calm and peaceful, very well, and little disturbances that is coming from outside cannot really disturb the peace that we already have developed. That is the most important part to remember about calming the mind. Samma samadhi means calmness of the mind, and generally when we are living in our society, we don't have first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, or any other jhanas active in our mind. But in day-to-day life, when you are living with your family and children and doing your daily work and doing other things, you can still keep a very good level of calmness, but you have no calmness up to the level of jhanas, because when the jhanas are in the mind, we are trying to minimize the activities of the eye, ear, tongue, and all the other sensory organs. We calm down the sensory organs. When the sensory organs are calmed down, when the meditation, the level of calmness go up, the sensory activities are always in operation during the day, that we are doing things, including our work and living with our family and friends and doing things. But when you sit in one position and try to calm your mind, like in meditation center that you go to, that way you can develop the calmness to the first level, second level, and third level, and fourth level, and all the other different levels. And the best part is that if you have developed first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, that is not magical thing. That is not only something that all the enlightened people can achieve. No, even for us, when we go to sit in meditation for 1 month, 2 months, every day, and you come to a point that your mind becomes very calm, and for a short time maybe, for even for a long time, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you can stay in the first jhana, then go to the second jhana, even further calm. And then after you finish meditation and get up, then your sensory organs are active and so many things are coming into your mind and you get disturbed. But the best part is if you have practice first jhana, second jhana, third jhana to a certain degree, everyday basis, your level of disturbance that is coming from outside is much less. In other words, a person who practices meditation can be much calmer even in day-to-day life. That is one thing that you have to remember. Why these monks were saying that they were achieving all the jhanas, and even asavakya jnana, which is the highest understanding of mind and mental activities, asavakya jnana, of all the influences from outside, and even the mind constantly create ideas. When mind is creating ideas, we get disturbed. But when the calmness is there, even the mind does not generate ideas, especially the ideas that make you disturbed. That means related to greed and hatred and ignorance. Ideas that related to greed, hatred, and ignorance does not rise strongly in our mind. Calmness often, daily basis if possible. This is same as if you go running, your heartbeat goes up a lot, and then when you are calming your mind, your heartbeats go way low. So therefore, when you lift something heavy for a few minutes, your heartbeat does not get disturbed because you have been exercising a lot. If you don't have good practice of exercising your body, when the heart rate is um, moved up, when you do daily things, your heart rate don't go way up. So that is why exercising is good for heart rate. Same thing about the mind. When the mind is exercised, you calm your mind to a very high degree, and then you come out of the calmness and engage in daily basis. When the shocks are coming from different parts through different sensory organs, that shock is not that strong, so your mind is still calm. So that is why if you practice meditation, you can stay calmer. Why it is so important? When you stay calmer, you can see things for yourself that is when your mind is calmer, I said, we know what is going on in us and around us. And when your mind is calm, you can use that calmness to watch all the different emotions like greed, hatred, and ignorance. Those are emotions. And when they are arising, and you can see for yourself. When they are passing away, you can see for yourself. This is called Samma Sati. You can see how these two are connected. How can you have Samma Sati if you don't have Samma Samadhi? These are all something that goes hand in hand. Samma Sati and Samma Samadhi. Sati means your ability to watch your own mind and observe your feelings for yourself, and to not only observe but mm, uh, manure. When your greed is going up and you know for sure that my greed is going up, and therefore I should curb this greed. And as a result, after a while, you even become able to completely deactivate greed. That is what is called enlightenment. At the enlightenment level, Arahant level, or even Sotapanna Sakadagami level, you can hatred to a certain degree, and ultimately you become an arahant. This rising of those emotions in the mind, emotions that disturb our calmness and make our life miserable. So that is dukkha. So dukkha stops when the calmness increased to a highest degree, and then the sati, ability to monitor your own feelings to the highest degree. That is how Buddha taught how to stop self-centered thinking. That means self-centered thinking always generate greed and hatred and ignorance, and that is not what we want as a Buddhist. What we want to is to minimize or completely eliminate greed, hatred, and ignorance, which is ultimately self-centered thinking or self-centered behavior, and that is the goal of Buddhism. Now, you have to see, if you're not getting along with your family and friends and people around you, there's no way that you can maintain your calmness and peace of mind, which is samadhi. And when there's no peace of mind, there's no awareness. That means sati. It's not active because your mind is disturbed, because your relationship with your friends and family are not good. So, what is sila? Sila means increasing the purity of too emotional. When you practice metta to a high level, and if you see object that make you attached to, like a beautiful form of a female or male, we get excited. That's the mind get excited based on the beauty of the male or the female or the good looks of that person. We generate a lot of and anger. But when you practice metta, this female or male that excited your mind as a sensual object does not happen. Because when you practice metta, this person who is beautiful, good friend of yours, no matter how beautiful your best friend is, when you see the beautiful best friend, good looking best friend, male or female, your mind does not get sensually aroused, because your mind has trained to see that person as your friend because of your cultivation of metta. So this is how important you can see that practice of metta ultimately leads you to upekkha. Metta ends with upekkha. Metta, karuna, mudita, upekkha. Metta arises in certain situation, and then the karuna arises in another certain situation. The mudita arises in another situation of if you can maintain equal mindedness, equanimity, that is upekkha, is the ultimate result of metta. So, for example, another example, if somebody does something that is really upsetting you, if it is done by your really good friend, that thing that he or she did that upset you does not upset you. That is why a good mother does not really get disturbed by whatever is done by your best friend, which is a child. When your child pee on the mother's lap, and mother would laugh instead of getting angry, because mother loves the child. Because that love, that's metta, child bites the breast of the mother, for example, baby. It is painful, but mother doesn't get angry. But if somebody else bites your hand or something, and you immediately get angry. Why? That person is not your friend. In other words, your mind is not trained enough to see every person and every being is not there, then you get angry or get lustful or get really misjudge. That is ignorance. So all these things happen, negative things happen to the people who have no metta. So if I think that a certain race I don't like, this race and I don't like that. But when you practice equanimity, race is not a reason to judge anyone. And behavior is not a reason to judge anyone. So you don't judge anyone. You don't judge means your upekkha is pretty good. That is why you don't judge. But we always judge people because of a lack of metta. When there is no metta, there is no equanimity, that is upekkha. So therefore, all these are interrelated. And when there is sila, sila means your good relationship, I said, with the people around you. When the relationships with your family and friends are good, your emotions like greed and lust and hatred so easily. So therefore, it's very important to think that and to know that sila and samadhi and panya all goes together. What is sila? Your communication skills, samma vacha, and also you have to know that samaditi is also related to it, and you look at from a different angle. When you have metta, you different forgiving angle. When you don't have metta, somebody does something wrong, you have the punishing angle. You want to punish that person. At least you want to hurt that person. At least you want to say something that make that person feel bad who did something wrong. But if you have sila, you have no desire to take anything or giving any pain from losing something that is important to that person. So that is how sila is connected to it. And then even in one of the last weeks Dhamma talks, I talked to you about practice of virya. Without effort, you never be able to calm your mind, because your mind is constantly running around and constantly moving from one thing to the other. That is how easily we get disturbed by things that we see, things that we hear. And therefore, effort is needed to bring it back. Remember the monkey mind. Our mind is like a monkey. Monkey never stays at one place and doing one thing. Either they run around, or either with other monkeys, or scratch here, scratch there, or eat some food, or doing something, and no calmness or no peace that is going on in the monkey. So that is our mind. That's a monkey mind. And there's another example of angry cow. When cow is always moving and running and never stays at one place, and then you calm the bull by I'm trying to see, by slowly putting effort to calm the mind. You try to gather the mind, bring the mind to one place and keep it there. And when you start practicing meditation, it is very hard for monkey mind to focus on one object. That is extremely difficult. Then you keep putting effort. When you keep putting effort, Samma Vayama, Buddha included in this practice. Because without Samma Vayama, there's no way that you can change you can improve your behavior. You always have to have effort. So if you are not very good with mathematics, then you put effort in learning mathematics, and after a while you become very good at mathematics, because you put the effort. Same thing about the mind. When the mind is constantly going towards certain objectives, think about certain things, and you know that this is harmful to think about these kind of things, so you have to bring the mind away from those objects that disturb your mind. So you pull it out of that object and focus on something that is wholesome object. So the wholesome object are not the objects that are disturbing the mind. Unwholesome objects, unwholesome way of looking at things are always, that is sama dittya. Sama dittya means looking at things from the wrong angle. It always disturbs. Looking at same thing from a certain right angle, it calms your mind. Same object that you are looking disturbed by hearing what politicians do, or but by hearing some other person did something unethical or something. If you look at from the other that angle, and then you get disturbed. And then there's another angle you can see all politicians and all the people everywhere is, and as long as we appoint people with greed, hatred, and ignorance to these political positions, and I have no reason to get upset about it, because these are the people who are appointed by us, our people. And so this is another different angle. So you don't really get upset and angry about the politicians or people in the government or people in power, because you look at them from another angle. And then when you hear certain things is done by certain leader or politician, and it doesn't bother you too much, because you know that this is the way they are, and why do I have to be upset about this? And if I keep getting upset about these things, it is endless. Everywhere it is the same, because that's the nature of all the politicians in general. And if we are lucky, we find great state politicians or something, and then things could be better. But until then, this is the way it is going to be, and there's no reason for you to get disturbed. And the people are complaining all the time. That's the way the people are. Even the politician do something good, people criticize. Even the same people, same politician do something bad, people criticize. So why do I get disturbed about this? That's the right view. Right view is very important to keep your mind calm. So these are all interconnected. Right view is connected with samadhi. Samadhi is connected with right view. If you don't have samadhi, you don't have right view. At least a little samadhi you have little right view. Then as a result, when you keep increasing your right view, you have more samadhi. When you practice of looking at things. So these are all interconnected. That is what the beauty of Buddha's plan for minimizing the intensity of self-centered behavior that increase our frustration and fear and problems of life. So therefore, it is very important to know that each of the links of Eightfold Path is equally important in getting to our goal. Our goal is to minimizing the intensity of our self-centered behavior, or minimizing the influence on us by our own negative emotions. So many negative emotions, but Buddha bring it down to greed, hatred, and ignorance. But when the Buddha explain it, he has mother, mana, all kinds of Krodha, all kinds of names are there in the Buddha's teaching, although he has summarized into very simple points in different times. So, although we easily say greed, hate, and ignorance, that is not all negative emotions. In those three baskets, all the other negative emotions that is harmful to us can be put in, and so then it's easier for us to work on our own negative emotions that is disturbing our life, that is bringing pain and suffering to our life. Samadhi cannot exist by itself. All the other links of the Eightfold Path is equally important for Samadhi to develop in the mind, calmness of the mind to develop in the mind. And then when the calmness is there, inevitably sati has to be there. But in case of Buddha, he had bring all these important ingredients that are extremely necessary to fight the self-centered thinking of all of us. Is not taught by anyone anywhere in the same way as the Buddha had taught. So therefore, we should feel so fortunate for being Buddhist, because everything that we need to know improve our calmness, improve our happiness, all that is taught by the Buddha in one package. So therefore, Dharma is something that we learn as Buddhist. That means any other place except in the teachings of the Buddha, you cannot find these most important tools that we need to minimize our suffering and finally eliminate suffering. In other words, Buddha had said very clearly, if there's anyone who has decreased the suffering, the first level, that is the suffering to the second level, Sakadagami. If there's anyone who has decreased the suffering to the third level, Sakadagami, Anagami, and then if you had any person, saint, they are called saints, first saint, second saint, third saint, and finally Arahant. If there's any saint that who has completely eliminated all the causes and conditions of suffering, they can be found only as Buddhist, only as the followers of the Buddha. If you don't have the access to Four Noble Truth, as a person, truth, you know suffering, you know what causes the suffering, that self-centeredness, you know how it is, how it feels when there's no suffering, and you also know what are the main ingredients of completely destroying our own self-centeredness or greed, hatred, and ignorance, you know. And anywhere else except in Buddhism, you don't find whatever that we are talking about. And therefore, all Buddhists should be very happy for being able to have the access to Dharma if you are a Buddhist. And even if you are a Buddhist, that does not mean that you have the access to Dharma because if the Dharma is somewhere else and you have the label Buddhist, and that doesn't mean too much unless you actually use it in your use the Dharma in your daily life and take little steps, even a little step, to minimize the influence of these negative emotions in your life and bring more peace, bring more happiness, bring more calmness, bring more harmony in your society, can be done by taking even little steps. Sila is a very simple step. Practice of metta is another simple step. Practice of Buddha Anusati is a little step. And practice of Sila is a very big step. So these are the things that help you as a Buddhist to get the best out of being Buddhist. Otherwise, there's no way of so therefore, I'm glad that some of you are participating in this kind of Dhamma talks and Dhamma discussions that directly help you to minimize your suffering in life and increase your comfort and joy in your life. Therefore, thank you for the question that came from this member of the temple who I think they are concerned about this type of information available in Dhamma, and to bring it to a simple language that we can understand. So we are so happy for all of you and all of us for being Buddhist and being exposed to Dhamma, and not only being exposed to Dhamma, we have the desire to follow it, because every step of the following of Dhamma, we can see the benefit. Every step, we can see the benefit. When you see the benefit, when we follow the Dhamma Samadhi to 10%, and your life become better 10%, easier 10%. And so if you practice and follow the Dharma to 50%, your life is 50% better compared to many other people who are experiencing suffering in the world and trying to commit suicide because of the life is so difficult and full of suffering. But more you practice life, you never even have the idea of thinking that life is so difficult and suicide like things. So today, this is the end of Dhamma discussion, and now it's 3:30, and maybe Bante will come and guide you with a few moments of meditation, Bante Sumana, and we invite him. And then now, after Dhamma discussion, Dhamma discussion had to be ended at 3:15, and we went already up to 3:35. But that's okay, because we discussed something very important that is equally important, like practicing meditation. So this next few minutes, you will join calming the mind, which is the practice of samadhi. And at 3:45, we go up to 4 o'clock. We have the meditation. No? Thank you very much for joining the Dhamma discussion, and we invite Bhante Sumana to guide you with the short meditation starting from now. Thank you very much for participating in the Dhamma discussion. By learning the Dhamma, by thinking about the Dhamma, you generated clear mind about life. That's about life. And as a result, you generated a lot of positive energy. And then this positive energy, may this positive energy be helpful to all of us and all our family members and relatives, so we all can live in peace and happiness and free from suffering, frustration, and fear. Thank you.
නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස. Dear Dhamma friends, from the morning to now, whole day you practice the Dhamma. At the beginning, you observe 8 precepts and the 10 precepts. Then after that, we listen to the Dhamma, Buddha's teaching, and we offer the Buddha Puja to the Buddha. Then we practice Dana, Sila, Bhavana, practicing generosity, practicing moral quality, and practicing meditation. These are the 3 wholesome deeds. To practice. Now that we have, I think, less than 20 minutes, we are going to practice meditation again. Now I don't want to explain too much about meditation, just we practice a little bit. The morning I explain about and teach about the loving kindness meditation. If you like to practice loving kindness meditation in this time also, you can practice it. Or if you want to practice breathing meditation, anapanasati, you can practice that too. The anapanasati is the kaya anupassana, the contemplation of body, according to the Satipatthana Sutta. It is very easy to practice. That means that because everyone can experience our breathing in and out, just focusing your attention to your natural breathing, you can concentrate your mind, focusing your natural breathing in and out, or inhale and exhale. Just sit comfortably, or if you want to, if you are, I don't know whether you're tired because you sit a long time and listen to the Dhamma talk and participate in the Dhamma discussion. If you are tired or sleepy to practice sitting meditation, you can practice walking meditation. Find some in your room, you can practice it. Go back and forth while you are walking, you have to focus your mind to your movement, and whatever the comfortable for concentrate your mind, and or whatever easy to focusing your mind, you can find a good meditation object and practice it. Yeah, the or metta meditation, or loving kindness meditation, or the breathing meditation, or walking meditation. So now is the time we until 3 3:55 I stop this practicing meditation. Just focus your mind to your breathing, or focus your mind to loving kindness meditation, or if you like, you can practice walking meditation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Last program is last program will be the evening Buddha Puja. We start with in few minutes, maybe about 4 past 5 minutes, something like that. We have some 10 minutes. If you want to some break, you can take a break and come to join with us in evening puja around 4 past 5 minutes. Thank you. See you next time. See you in the 10 minutes, okay?